So £20,405 is the offer that I got today. This is the 27th of June 2021. So 20 quid less as opposed to last week's video, which was part 4. Yeah, so there you go. Slight decrease, but the market's still staying. I thought I'd get straight into this video, really. Straight into the offer. That's kind of what this little series has been about. To kind of help you lot out, gauge where the market's at. This was for my Mark 7 Golf R, my 2017 car, 32,000 miles. Please look back on those, particularly the first one as well, just to know what's kind of going on in the used market. But there you go. That's the offer that I did recently. Hardly any difference. And one thing I should say as well, We Buy Any Car seems to actually be like the cheapest, the lowest offer, I should say, compared to other places such as Motorway. And obviously, if you did go privately, you'd likely get a little bit more as well. So yeah, there you go. But what I'll essentially do in this video now is go through the comments from part 4. And I'll also go through another post as well that I saw from on the Facebook forum for the Mark 7, Mark 7.5 and Mark 8 Golf R Owners Club, just to kind of go through that with you. So let's get straight into that one, shall we? So yes, this was a comment that sort of came up and I was reading it through, and I'll read it through here and see what you lot think. I've sold my Golf R to We Buy Any Car. You want to know the price? To be honest, it was my 12th Golf, and this is a big jump from a Mark 5 GTI to the daddy of the range. I borrowed 22.5 grand from Tesco 4 years ago and bought the R from Lookers with 19,000 miles on the clock. I put 60,000 miles on it in the first 3 years and 7k this last year. So 64 plate on 86,000 miles, DSG, reverse cam, good condition, 1 month in MOT, online offer £14,500, knocked down to 14,000 on viewing with short MOT, 2 scratch panels and the admin fee, all done in 30 minutes. So 8,500 depreciation for those 67,000 miles with me. I was very happy with We Buy Any Car. No issues with the car over 4 years, pleasure to own. Plan now, cheap run around as doing less miles, and the return to a 7.5R next year. Kind of exactly what I've been saying. If you can do it, this high sort of peak of what cars are worth will not last forever. So if you can afford to do something like this and you still do love the car, because it is a great car, you can work your way back into it. I just wanted to add that because that was just a post that I saw, and I thought it'd be interesting to share to see what you lot thought of that as well. So let's get straight into these comments. That was from part 4 from you guys. So yeah, let's talk through these. So here we go. First one here. Just out of interest, I entered the details of my 2014 Golf R DSG into We Buy Any Car. Price calculator, the offer came back at 19,350, which to be honest is much more than I thought. Just put things into perspective, the car is low miles, 15,000, and has a really nice specification. Leather sunroof, adaptive suspension, upgraded nav. To be honest, it may tempt me into selling the Golf and going for a new electric vehicle, possibly the Skoda Enyaq. My kind of response to that, I really do think it's early days for the EVs. I really do. I think we're in such an early phase of it. I think petrol cars have still got easily 5 to 10 years of good quality life left in them before, eventually, we're going to have to all go for EVs. So I'm not sort of jumping to get an EV right now. Who knows what could happen. But I think it is a good idea to, just to check and to gauge for yourself. Like I said, the market is very, very high. I keep thinking that it's going to last until about August. I think that's probably about right. Dealers will kind of know when the prices hit a mark where they're going to potentially start losing money, so they won't obviously be buying cars for such a high amount that they are at the moment. And the crazy things of the fact that they're buying cars for more than they've sold them for last year is crazy right now. And I think with the Golf R, because of that all-round capabilities I've kind of spoken about before, it's at a great place. You kind of see from my We Buy Any Car valuation as a little bit of a gauge. It's not a hard-on offer or anything like that. It's just to give you guys a kind of an idea of how much this has increased or staying the same week on week. It's in a very good place, and to be honest with you, I still think it's going to be in a good place for, hopefully the summer that we have sort of in the UK or wherever you are. So yeah, let's see how this goes. But yeah, that's where we are, and thank you so much for the comment. And again, if you comment in this video as well, I'll share it in next week's video where I kind of do a recap again. I'll sort of share through what would be part 6, and I'll show you what my car is kind of been showing as worth at that time. And this is including going up in miles, albeit I'm not doing too many miles, but that's just what's happening. So that's really cool. And if you like the video, please like, share, subscribe. It really does help build this community channel. really enjoying it. I hope you're all enjoying it too. Next comment here, so enjoying the channel, just wondering if you ever considered doing other features on Golf Rs like the Mark 6 or where it all started, the R32. I have a Mark 5 R32 which I love. It's an amazing car. Now although this isn't directly related to any sort of We Buy Any Car or price of the Golf R or anything like that, you know, you're welcome to put any comment in you'd like. Now for me, yeah, again, I'd love to get more content on the channel. I think having driven the GTI Club Sport and the Mark 8 Golf R from kind subscribers as well early on in the year, that was fantastic. I am very much reliant on you guys helping me out on that. So if you do have a really nice car and you've seen what the kind of content I do, you know, feel free, drop me a DM on Instagram. Be more than happy to kind of do that. So yeah, that's the answer to that question. I'm really open to anything on the channel, particularly obviously around the golf sort of side of things, but really good question. I'm glad you're enjoying the channel, so thank you so much for that. Next one, congratulations on 1 million views. Pretty impressive, well deserved. Keep up the good work. Here's the next million. So yeah, thanks very much for that. It's, yeah, the channel's growing really well, and really do appreciate all your support because it's all from you guys. So now we're straight back onto a question more around the We Buy Any Car stuff. Hi Sam, bought my 7.5 Lapis Blue 3-door Golf R last October for 24,900. Did a wee back about 5 weeks ago and got 23,900. Then did again today, got 25,365. Also motorway offering 27,334. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, I mean that says it all. It's all about supply and demand, and I mean that is a strong offer and a big increase. I mean mine's sort of gone up by a few £1,000s. It's tempting, but I mean you're looking at a good nearly what, £4,000. That's a lot of money in less than a year for just sort of like a normal daily car to a degree. Obviously it's a Golf R to go up by that much. So really cool. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on that, and hopefully, you know, it just shows where things are, and hopefully this helps people out to kind of get it into their head that whatever car you're selling at the moment, make sure you're getting top whack. And if you can avoid obviously buying an expensive car on the other end, you will kind of be quids in if you can kind of wait it out when this inevitably goes away. Used cars depreciate as they normally do. Are you tempted by the new R or Club Sport GTI, and if not, why? Just out of interest really. So yeah, I've kind of given my sort of response to that there. In short, between the two, I loved them both. I thought the GTI Club Sport was a lot of fun. The new R was fantastic, and I think I saw myself more living with the R more so than the GTI. That's kind of what I would go for. And at the moment for both of them, the price range is very high at the moment. Obviously with the supply and demand issues, you can't really get a Golf 8R for less than 40 grand if you want to have one today, so it's tricky times. Also as part of that comment as well, someone said, keep the series going Sam, I sold my 7.5R a couple of weeks ago, commented on one of your vids when I did, but I'm keen just out of interest if the prices rise anymore. I think they've pretty much peaked, but I also don't think they'll start to fall significantly for a while. So yeah, thanks so much for commenting on previous videos as well. I do get a lot of comments now, so I actually generally forget some of the people that do comment, so apologies if any of that does happen. But yes, that's really cool, and I'm glad you're still sort of keeping track of it. I think you're probably right. I think it's at that sort of high end. I don't think it's going to jump anymore, but yeah, I generally don't think it's going to go down, and because it's not going to go down in the next sort of month or two, you might as well kind of just keep your car. Obviously the longer you wait, the more chance it's then going to dip, and when it does dip, I reckon it will fall by a few grand. So yeah, it's a tough one, but thank you so much for your comments on that. Next comment, I think it's a good time for owners that bought the R and not completely satisfied with them, so kind of a good way to get out and get their money back and a bit more. That's how I felt when I sold mine anyway. Yeah, 100%. You know, if you're not happy with the car, this is a fantastic time to get out. You know, there's a reason, you know, you're going to get top dollar for it. And yeah, really good point there. If you don't like the car, now's the time to sell 100%. I don't think it's going to go up in too much more. Do you think you will upgrade to a Mark 7.5? I think it's worth the upgrades, or maybe you can change parts. And then I sort of replied to that kind of question and said, I didn't necessarily think that step up was going to be big enough unless I went for a DSG. They replied and said a DSG does feel like it gets more power and all this kind of stuff. 100%. I'm kind of like, the 7.5 is just like a really refined version of the Mark 7, but there's a lot I like about the Mark 7. I like, a lot of people have commented on stuff like, you know, like the unique LED lights at the front. It's more specific for an R, whereas in the 7.5 it's kind of more across the board. You kind of see it on other 7.5 GTIs and stuff like that, where this is a little bit more unique. There's a lot of touches I love about the Mark 7. Also, I think it came out in an era where VW were kind of bossing it, and then obviously things fell down with Dieselgate and they had to change of plans basically, and the world kind of changed around it. So that's why I like the Mark 7. I think it'd be unlikely I went for a 7.5, but who knows? We'll see what happens in the future. But a good point, something I'm always thinking about, and thanks so much for your comment. Comment here, I bought an M140 on Wednesday, it's for 22,000, and sold it today 5 days later for 22,500. Yeah, by the way, that is something that can easily happen. If you get a car at a good price from somewhere, the chances are you're either going to get your money back or potentially net yourself a little bit of cash. Depending on if, hopefully that person hasn't set up a huge finance agreement, and then it's, not necessarily clear cut. But if they pull it outright, then yeah, that's 500 quid for 5 days work. It's not that bad, and you've had a car for 5 days. So yeah, interesting stuff, and thanks so much for the comment there. And it also shows that it's not just happening with the Golf R, it's kind of happening with a lot of performance type cars, but generally cars in general. Next comment here, I've been monitoring the valuation of my Mark III Audi TTS since July 2020. We back offered 19,825 in July 2020. By September 2020, the valuation had increased by up to 21,750. The valuation dropped down to £20,735 in May 2021. It is now June 2021. I've done 5,000 miles since the first valuation, and we back have now offered 22,600. So again, great points on the sort of the trail of what they're seeing. Again, I should stress WeBack isn't like the only one that you can go to, but it's just a good gauge of where they're seeing it. They've obviously got their real-time data in the background, sort of going, how much money can we make off this, etc., etc. So that's a good point, and it's amazing. I do think those Mark III Audis. I drove a TT, my friend's TT. I think they're good news personally. I believe it's in the next couple of years they're not going to make a Mark IV Audi TT. It's basically a Golf GTI, lighter and lower. So think of it that way. It's a cool car. So yeah, great to hear the story there. Thanks so much for the comment. Next comment: bought an A220D from BCA for 16 grand. That was in February. Have spent about £1,000 on the service, brake and discs. We Buy Any Car have offered £17,455 for it. So again, really, really good to see, and good to see people not losing out. That's what I like to see. Even if you just break even, you've done really well, because cars unfortunately do just depreciate, and that's normally the bad thing. But yeah, really good story there, and thank you so much for the comment. Final comment here is, I had a 2019 320D, I'm assuming that's a BMW 320D, with 30,000 miles on it. Wanted to swap it for an M135i, don't blame you, going from a diesel to a 3 litre petrol. Dealer was offering £18,700, went to We Buy Any Car, valuation was £20,350. That's a really good point actually. Dealers will always try and get as much as they can, and if they think you're not checking and you're not knowing what your car's worth, they will undercut what We Buy Any Car are, or they'll just say, yeah, we'll might match them. So you do your own research. That person could have easily sold their car for just under 19 grand when it's worth a hell of a lot more at that exact same time. So yeah, really good sort of research in your car there. Continuing with the comment, it says, I've looked after the car, and when I took it to WeBack, they ended up offering 21,950. So that's pretty good. Helped with a good deposit for the 135i and some money in the bank. So that's really, really good. Again, it shows it from different cars. A few BMW owners obviously commenting on here as well. Congratulations on getting your new car, first of all, and well done for getting the best offer you could do for your 320D. Bit of a mile a month of that car, and I can tell from the fact that you've done 30,000 miles in not that long, because that was a 2019 car. You clearly did drive it, and you clearly got the most out of it as well. So really cool you got an M135i. Hopefully you're not doing that many miles, because the fuel economy is going to be drastically different for you. But great story on your offer, and thanks so much for the comment. So there we go, that's the end of the video. I'll end it on sort of like a little bit of a walk around of my Golf R. Thanks for watching. Comment below, and I'll do sort of part 6. I think it's a really interesting and fascinating time, and I'm really enjoying you guys getting involved as well. Let me know your comments below. And yeah, anything you'd like to see added to this series that you think could add any sort of different dimension for it. At the moment, I'm sort of just, while the market is in this crazy point, I thought it was a great thing to kind of share, and I hope you've all enjoyed it. But yes, please like, share, subscribe. It does help me build the channel. I'm looking forward to the growth of it. The bigger it gets, the more videos I can create for you guys, and yeah, I hope you're all enjoying it. But thanks so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day, fantastic rest of your week, and I'll see you again next time. Cheers, guys.